Welcome to the EBC podcast, More Than Fitness. With a combined 50 years worth of experience and knowledge in the industry, we're going to have an open discussion on everything fitness and more. Hosted by myself, Wes, an EBC director, James Sweeney, a sports scientist and EBC director, Glyn Roberts, a former Royal Marine and EBC director, and Will Young, our online coach specialist and EBC instructor. Welcome back, guys, to the EBC podcast, More Than Fitness. As you can see, unfortunately, we haven't got James with us for this episode, but we have replaced him with Jack. Hi, Jack.
Hi.
And Will has made a comeback after not being here for the last one, or whatever one he missed. I can't remember.
Jack's one.
That was it. Jack's one, wasn't it? Right, guys. So we're going to do another Q&A, a members Q&A one. So there was approximately 30 questions that were sent to us on our platforms. And I think in the last one, we only got 5 questions done because it just went on forever. Mr. Roberts.
I'm a passionate guy, what can I say?
Passionate guy. Right, so I'm going to fire off some questions again and we'll just get going and we see how we roll. Mate, this is a nice, easy one. What is the exercise you enjoy giving people the most?
Burpees.
Burpees. He asked me that before as the first thing I said, but realistically, is it actually?
No, there isn't an exercise.
I don't have a specific favourite. It depends in what
Sequence,
for again.
yeah.
It kind of comes down to.
I like mixing it up as well. I like like isometric hold press ups. Like that really fucks people up.
I love a tractor tire pull.
I do like teamwork.
Yeah,
but I don't do it very often.
I'd say that's
I don't do it very often.
exercise trademark of mine is the tractor tire.
Like people love stretcher races.
Yeah. If you love a stretcher race, give us a like.
What exercise do you like? I don't know. Anything, genuinely, anything that makes them suffer. And what I mean by that is because there's that sense of achievement. And I actually mean that there's a genuine reason why. I do like seeing people suffer because there's a
sense of fulfillment
at the end of it. Yeah. You're getting.
They're overcoming something 100%. Every time that they.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's funny because with burpees, right? You can see people on some trainers on social media absolutely slate them. Don't fucking do them. They're pointless. They're not pointless because they work every single muscle in your body.
Yeah.
They're not pointless. They are brutal, right? But again, it's like any exercise. If you can't do them correctly, don't do them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you look at, there's one of my members at the moment, she keeps getting a niggle in her back. And when she does burpees and things like that, she does what I call the CrossFit lazy burpee. She puts hands down, she literally worms onto the floor. She bends, basically
That's
her
what
knees,
burpees evolved into these
her
days.
hips, they just roll down.
Jack, do you want to kind of tell us how your burpees go CrossFit?
Nothing to say about that.
But that is the bend in the back is a joke. And I said to her, control it more, keep some tension in your core. So the body pretty much lands almost level at the same time and then push up. Whereas they're rolling down, like you know what I mean by the worm, don't you? They're rolling, and that's just going to aggravate your back.
Yeah.
So you need to keep more tension in your core. So the burpee is a good exercise.
Do you give her a different variation of the burpee then, just to aid her, or do you just tell her just be really strict with your form?
No, because she's Dawn Fagans, yet again, mentioned her last time. She's a little animal. Yeah. But she really bends her back, and she knows she does it. I'm constantly saying to her about keeping your core pulled in, like in every exercise. Yeah. But I'm hot on that anyway, since when I prolapsed my back. Yeah. Like you realise the importance of squeezing your core in everything you do anyway.
Yeah, keep time and attention.
Interesting question. I do like teamwork. Teamwork is
I'd say anything that's team-based for me, I really enjoy because
it's the bread and butter of what boot camp is, really, isn't it?
And also, like you said, you guys said it already, if someone...
True.
Do you not think?
No. What's bottom field?
Yeah, individual.
Is it teamwork? Or is it individual?
What are you talking about when you're doing a bottom field pass out or when you're training up until that point?
Bottom field in general session
individual.
Bottom field is individual.
Individual, yeah.
That's the premise of boot camp. Yeah. Old school.
Maybe that's perhaps what I meant more then is... is actually but using other people. So things like fireman carries and drags and pistol drags and Kazovacs.
I love an old school
those kind of exercises are really
old school thrashing. It's just run different parts of the field, see a hill, going to use that, see some benches, going to use that, right, we're going to go this way, through the woods, I love that old school type training. I think that's where it originated, and I quite enjoy delivering them, to be honest.
Yeah. Cool.
There we go. Next question.
I didn't expect the answer to be that long, I'll be honest. I thought it was going to be like straight
You
in.
didn't expect us to lengthen
Never
out
is.
the answer into a
Yeah,
question.
jeez. Just like drag it. Right, guys. So another question that's come in. What is more important, the calories or the quality of the food for fat loss?
Calories.
Easy one. You can have that.
Calories.
You can have that.
Instantly calories because, I mean, it's initially, if it is for fat loss, ultimately it comes down to the amount of calories you're consuming. As your expenditure needs to be more than what you're consuming. So if you're looking at quality of food, it doesn't really matter at all. You know, you could realistically, and obviously we wouldn't suggest this, but you could eat, you're in a deficit, roughly half a Domino's pizza, and that's all you eat every day, every single day. That's all you consume, but you still lose weight on that. Whereas, you know, you could eat 10 salads a day and that could put you in a surplus and you could gain weight on that. So it's all calorie dependent. But obviously, you know, it is important to start looking at macros and nutrient dense foods because this is going to help you out, especially with things like when you're losing weight, quality of food, kind of something that really helps is prioritizing protein because that kind of not forces you, but encourages you into to better diet choices and better diet options. And why protein's so important is because it's going to help you retain as much muscle as possible and help you recover whilst in that fat loss phase.
Especially the other thing to mention as well is when you're in a calorie deficit is the cleaner the food. Usually, the more you got, the more
you got food volume you've got to play with,
which is going to fill you up, haven't you? Isn't it? Like if you eat a Pop-Tart, which is I don't know what 300 calories a slice, you eat one of them, you're like hungry now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Which is again why none of us really are keen on liquid calories because you drink it and you're like, I'm hungry now.
I'm hungry.
You're still hungry,
Yeah.
but if you eat 300, 400 calories in salad and God knows what else, there's going to be a bowl like that. And you eat that, you're going to be like, oh my God, I feel full. Perfect.
I literally made a video on this the other day, actually, and it was speaking about exactly the same thing. Like if you were to consume, for example, I used a packet of biscuits, like chocolate digestives, at like 1,300 calories for the entire packet. And if you work an office-based job, you could probably snack on that throughout the entire day. It's not going to fill you up and you'll get through an entire packet of that. But instead of doing that, if you were to not force yourself, but encourage yourself to have, I think I went with 2 apples and a banana, and that came to like 250 calories. And then you consume that first, it's probably going to fill you up quite a lot. And then just have one biscuit with it. Yeah. And then you're going to be full. Yeah. You don't have to worry about that. So it's just about making smarter choices. But yeah, ultimately calories in that, first of all. But they are both, you know, they both have their importance. For sure, quality of food is definitely still really important. But ultimately calories.
Cool.
If it is for fat
Anything there,
loss.
Jack? Oh, Jack's got the 50-word mic.
So, yeah, we swapped.
I think the macros come into it more when you start training for performance. I think when it just comes down to weight loss, calories is number one. I think when you get down to weight you're happy with and you start actually looking to improve your strength, improve your times, etc., that's when you need to start looking into a few more of the finer details.
Ultimately, though,
So all I've got to add to that.
ultimately, if you so we mentioned him before, Ross Edgley, right? He did. If you ever read his book, the book that he spent 10 years writing. It's a brilliant book, and in it he talks about this and calories. And there's a picture of him, 2 pictures of him, right? And his physique hasn't changed. And if anybody knows who Ross Edgley is, he's a hell of
like
a hybrid athlete.
yeah.
But he's a beast.
It's like the size of a bodybuilder, but
Yeah,
the
but
fitness of
these 2 pictures are any different. He said, but in the book he states his calories remain the same, but one picture he ate really high fat diet, the other picture really high carb diet, but he's looked the same. And what it come down to is the calories.
Yeah.
The difference in carbs and proteins, carbs and fats really is an individual thing. Some people are going to perform better on carbs, some on fats. Some people will eat carbs and just go, we're knackered now because they get that horrible carb dump, and some people are the opposite. So again, when you start to break down the macros, ignore that, protein 100%, the rest of your calories made up whatever way you want to do it, but then start to listen to your body. I know I perform well on carbs. Some people are just dog shit on it. Some people are bloated. They again, it's such an individual thing, isn't it? But the whole industry completely overwhelms people trying to understand which direction to go. You know, we've had this conversation before.
Because there's just so much information, isn't it?
Yeah.
So much information. Right, next question. Really, really straight to the point. How do I prevent injuries?
Oh my God. I mean,
I don't know, I'm not physio.
Injuries?
I can't. No comment.
how do you prevent?
Training correctly, warming up correctly, getting adequate rest and recovery.
Not overtraining.
If
Resting.
If you were to ask me what one thing I would change 20 years ago would be mobility and movement, flexibility. 100%, without a doubt, right? Because it's quite a big thing now, the whole mobility movement, all that, which is great. I think it's really good. Because when you get older, obviously everything's shrinking, joints, ligaments, all that kind of muscles.
Everything.
Not very nice, is it, Wes? Listen, just because Jim's not here, don't make me start on you, you little attention seeker.
Oh,
right?
wow. Oh, now we're not going to start on me.
Mobility.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, if you're flexible and you're mobile, your joints can move and everything like that, you're going to get less injuries. It's a fucking given.
Yeah.
Like David Goggins, I know I'm quoting another bloke in another book, but his book was interesting because he really talked about, I don't know if you've ever listened to his book.
Yeah,
but he talked about when he was running and basically had major kidney failure and he was in a bad
All
way.
the cartilage in his knees is gone as well.
Yeah, and then
shot,
he said when he was in the SEALs, someone come in and started making him do stretching and yoga, I think it was. And then suddenly his running started to get faster and faster. And he was like, what is this all about? Because he was more mobile.
More mobile. Yeah.
That was it. It's the only thing that he changed.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd have to, like you obviously know, you laugh because I have to go and do half an hour mobility before I do anything.
I've been out of the
Otherwise, I
gym by the
don't
time you've done that.
Yeah, but you have to.
It's important.
So,
Yeah, it's really
mobility,
important. It's something that
if
I
you
overlook as well, for sure.
If you could tell a
I should start doing.
20-year-old now that's going to start lifting, like you see, but you do
Look at me
see
like I'm
lads
20.
walk into
I'm
the
getting old
gym.
now.
They walk straight into the gym.
Straight into
Nothing wrong with
lifting.
doing a warm up on the move you're going to do, but go and get everything, get some blood flowing, get the hips. So they go in the gym, like plates on, bang. I'm just like, I remember doing that.
You see, but this as well. And if you're not a very active person, like I use my young brother for example, he was always picking up shoulder injuries. He's got a pretty sedentary job where he's sitting down all day, and he'll try and copy me, where I'm quite active all day and I'm still doing stuff. And when I'm doing sessions, I'm moving around and I'm doing the movements myself. And he'll come into the gym and train with me, and on the first movement, I won't need to perhaps warm up as much as he does, and he'll fuck himself up on something and end up injuring his shoulder. So yeah, definitely mobility, warming up, and making sure that you're ready to get into that session.
What's the most common injury that we get at boot camp, or niggle, should I say? Not necessarily injury. What do you think it is?
Knees. I think people's
Knees and back.
Knees.
Lower back.
Knees and back.
And shin splints.
Yeah. It's usually for first timers.
Yeah,
that haven't run
first-timers.
for a while. But for me, a common one.
I get a lot of
back.
ankle stuff.
It's
as well.
back, is it?
It's usually because if you think about it, then most people are, like you said, your brother sitting behind a desk, right? As we're sitting down now, my hip flexor's shrinking, isn't it? If I was sitting down behind a desk for 8 hours, my hip flexor shrunk.
Yeah.
What people don't realise is that connects to your lower back. So when they get up, they go on a train or a bus in a car, go home, trainers on, out boot camp, run. Straight away, they're driving their leg back, the hip flexor extends, and they're like, oh, my back's really tight today. It's like, you've been sat on your ass for 8 hours.
Yeah.
And then you expect your hip flexor to lengthen out, and all that does is pull their back.
Pull through the back.
And it's common that for me, I notice that a lot, like aggravation in the lower back. And people think it's directly the back, but usually it's hip flexor from sitting down now. This is all, shortening up.
Yeah.
It's not a natural position.
It's not we're not designed to be sat down for 8 hours like this.
Why it's so important these days to use like stand-up desks are a great thing. When we went to that ICAT building, they had a whole segment in there.
Segment of it.
Yeah,
They had stand-up desks. But again, I use something called a Pomodoro timer. This is what I use since I've transitioned just to online from being in person PT, and my steps have drastically reduced. Obviously, I walk the dog and I still get like 10, 15K a day, but I was averaging like 20K plus without even having to try. And I use a Pomodoro timer now. So I've got an app on my phone that every 25 minutes dings off, and my phone's locked for that 25 minutes. So I can be productive and get work done. On that 5 minutes, it unlocks it and tells me to get up. So I get up and move around for 5 minutes, do whatever I need to do on my phone, about for a minute if I want to.
Was it a separate
It's called
app?
Pomodoro timer, yeah.
And it shuts your phone down. Oh, I'm getting that off of you. That's
Good.
brilliant.
It's quality.
That's great.
It helps you be
Yeah,
productive. It
yeah.
helps you be productive. So you get smash out
that's a really
just
good
25-minute segments of work, and then it allows you that 5 minutes to go and fuck about and go through
And you
social
can
media.
also set the
What's the name
timer
of it?
of how long
You
it
can set
shuts
the
the phone down
timer,
for.
but typically a Pomodoro timer is 25 on, 5 off, continuous. But make sure within that 5 minutes that you actually go and move around.
And you can't open your phone
I can't
until
open my phone,
until
no.
the app. That's brilliant.
That's why I turn off my personal phone and I do it on my work phone.
That's why you don't
It's
text me
called
back
a
at certain
like the
times.
sauce, like the Italian
I'll
sauce.
let you off
Pomodoro.
now. I know why you're ignoring me.
Yeah, exactly. Pomodoro timer.
Pomodoro want to sponsor us.
Right, now we
Pomodoro
know.
timer.
What? That's brilliant. Thanks for turning up today, mate.
That was worth it.
Well worth it.
Search it. There's
That
loads
was
of them on the app
nice.
Good
store.
idea.
There's loads of them on the
Great
app store.
idea.
Have a
I
look
like
through it.
Right. Brilliant. Anyway, next question.
That threw me off there, mate.
Yeah, it is.
I quite like that.
Like it, Chiswell.
What one fitness myth would you like everyone to know is a myth?
Carbs make you fat.
Carbs make you fat.
Eating carbs after 6 o'clock.
There's so many.
There's loads.
And they're all
Right, go,
carb
you-
related as
Eating
well.
too many
You
egg
go
yolks
one.
is going to give you high cholesterol.
You go one, and if you've got
Well,
one.
there's too many. Can I have 10?
Right.
We're 10 each.
I'm going to come back to you in a minute then. You can narrow it down.
Lifting weights
Go
is
on,
going to
Jack.
turn you into a bodybuilder.
Yeah,
That's my one.
women still seem to. Sorry, we're just bouncing around here. Aren't we? Women seem to think that
I'm going to take
I'm
charge
going to
here.
get bigger muscle. You won't.
Yeah, yes,
Jack,
you're
go
not
on.
going like that.
What's your one?
I think the way that diets work. So at the end of the day, it's calorie deficit. Whether it's keto, whether it's intermittent fasting, people think that if you're going to do one of those two, magic things happen in your body. They don't. You're just in a calorie deficit.
They've all got one thing in common.
So I think for me, if people understand why you're doing keto, why you're doing intermittent fasting, that would be the one for me.
Yeah, it's very true.
People need to understand that.
Yeah.
Well, there's definitely different places where those diets actually might fit someone.
100%.
But
Yeah, if skipping
as long as
breakfast
people
is gonna
trying to get
help you
people
hit
to
your
understand it,
deficit,
it's all the same result. Yeah.
Yeah, result.
I'm going to go with what I just said, which is, what did I just say?
Lifting weights.
Lifting weights is not going to make you big and bulky like most people think it is. A lot of time, effort, dedication, food goes into that. It's not like you're going to go and do a few bicep curls and just blow up like the fucking
Stack up.
Michelin man.
But
No.
so why do you think women think that lifting weights is going to make them bigger muscly?
I don't know. I guess people just have that perception
I'm
of
gonna go
anyone
social
that lifts
media
weights just
portrays
goes, yeah,
that
it's
when they're
definitely
moving
social
weight, they're
media.
bigger-
Because
bigger.
Everything negative has been through social
Yeah.
media. Everything's come
when
from
you
it.
look at like fitness models on stage, they look muscular, right? So I remember the first time I competed, I remember queuing up to go on stage, and those fitness models were next to me, and I'm like, they're fucking tiny. They're not muscly.
It's just such
because
a
their
low amount of body
fat's
fat
gone down.
percentage.
You see shape. It gives definition of
It's-
muscle.
it's
That's
an
the
optical
whole magic
illusion.
of being on stage. That's why you
Yeah.
have a fucking tan and bright lights.
The same
You know
thing,
what I
people,
mean?
yeah, because a lot of, again, bring it back to women, which I probably shouldn't do, but they don't think they're holding a lot of muscle. But if you reduce the amount of body fat you're holding down to a point where you're revealing all the muscle that you've got, you're gonna look bigger. It's why, like, some people will look, like, I've got a mate, for example, who's fucking like half the size of me in a t-shirt, takes his t-shirt off, and I look fucking fat next to him. He looks twice the size just because he's shredded all year round. So I think it just comes down to body fat percentage. But yeah, I guess they have this perception. Thank you, Wes.
You're welcome.
This perception where I guess they're being influenced and seeing bodybuilders and female bikini competitors that are lifting weights, and they think, "Fucking hell, I'm just going to get,
But
I'm going to
do you
get
know,
massive."
Women
But
are
it's
also
not the case.
forgetting one thing, one major factor, difference between men and women of why
Testosterone.
we get big and they don't, because we have majority of testosterone and they don't, and testosterone is what makes us bulk up.
Yeah.
So I say to people like, "Oh, I don't want to get back." You're not, unless you take extra testosterone.
Yeah.
You're physically, "Oh, but I've got bigger." Well, you just, it doesn't work like that.
No.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one. For me, there's just so many.
Right. Let's put a timer on it. We're going to be here for half hour. Phil.
There's a lot. I think the big one is what you mentioned. I think, I've said this before when I've done big talks before in front of groups, and I've said to the group once, I said, throw me out some different, I did it with the Mind Over Muscle tour. I said, throw me some different diets, keto, carnivore, vegan, all these different things. Right, brilliant. Yeah, they all work, right? But what's the one thing they all have in common? Calorie deficit.
Deficit. Yep.
That's it. Why does Pete? I'm going to go on the juice diet. Right. Well, the only reason that's going to work is you're reducing your calories so low. Calorie deficit.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing they've all got in common. The one thing I'm talking a lot to people about at the moment is salt in their diet. Is that people don't have enough salt in their diet.
This is something, that's another myth that really annoys me, because whenever I used to put salt in my food as a kid, my mum would be like, "You're going to have a heart attack when you're older."
Yeah.
It's not the case. I now have 4 twists of pink Himalayan salt on every single meal I have throughout the day.
drink
4
salt
meals.
water.
Gives you a great pump.
Yeah.
It gives you a great pump as well. If you drink salt
the
before
thing
the gym.
is as well, like you're.
Yeah, Jen. Yeah. If you have pre-workout, mate, and put
Yeah, it does.
4 twists of salt.
Yeah, because
in
your body, the
Crazy.
salt allows your body to absorb the water.
Yeah.
So you'll hear people go, I drink 4 litres of water a day and I'm still tired, I've got headaches, dehydration. Your body can't absorb that much water. So if you we go back to when I competed, the week before you go on stage, you water load. So I was drinking 12 litres of water for about 3 or 4 days and you drop it right off. And you can't maintain that water, so you just end up pissing it out, which is why suddenly you wake up one day and go, "Oh, fucking hell, I look lean as hell," because you're pissing the water out. But if you that's why you can't have any salt leading up to that, because you hold the water. So salt, good quality salt, not table salt, Maldon salt. I'm going to shout Maldon salt, obviously, because
Obviously, because they're going to be a sponsor.
to be fair, Maldon salt does take very good in water because it comes from the water. However, I drink salt water because it hydrates the body. And I believe, someone might correct us if I'm wrong here, but you can have between 3,000 to 4,000 milligrams of salt a day. is what you can have. Obviously on the average, but if you're training a lot and sweating out a lot, you can have a lot more salt. Really good for you. So electrolytes, which is why I look like I'm drinking pea water, because it's just electrolytes. There you go.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
I like that.
Eggs, eating too many eggs. If people say, how many do you eggs today? Oh, I don't know, about 10. Oh my God, about your cholesterol. No, just no.
It's true, no.
Do you know how good an egg is for you?
Yeah.
It is like the best thing you can possibly eat on the planet. It's not been touched with. It's so good for it. But there's a lot of myths out there, isn't there?
There's so many.
Good. We could go a whole.
Well, it's
I
so
feel like
easy.
we could go for
do a whole podcast.
ages
A whole
on that.
podcast on myths.
I feel like we could do that. Myth busting
Myth busting.
with Glyn. Right, guys. Next question. I like this question, by the way. What are your non-negotiables for a healthy lifestyle? Non-negotiables.
Exercise.
Yeah, well, definitely routine for a starter.
Yeah.
I have to have routine, otherwise I'm never going to stick to something. I'm never going to structure with everything I do. So to a healthy lifestyle, adequate sleep is going to be the first thing. Consuming the correct amount of food.
Have you got like a routine
Every
that
day.
you follow every day?
Yeah,
What is your routine?
I wake up at 6:30.
Yeah.
Laying.
Yeah, mate.
I don't have kids.
Routine as well? Have you got a routine?
I don't have
Every
kids.
day. I've got kids.
I go to bed.
Every
I go to bed.
day's
Yeah. So I go to bed around. I'd say I'd probably head down about 11. Wake up about 6:30. So about 7.5 hours of sleep, and that will do me right. Unless my Whoop does tell me off quite a lot for it. But believe it or not, sometimes just swearing away from the point here quickly, it will tell me that I need like 10 hours of sleep to catch up to 100% recovery sometimes, which is so much sleep. But 7.5 hours of sleep roughly. Then I wake up. I like personally. I do intermittent fast. I don't intermittent fast and call it that. I just push my first meal back quite a lot. So usually about 11:30, 12. That just works best for me. You want to hear my whole day's routine?
Yeah, no, 100%.
I'll get some steps in initially straight off of the day. So I walk the dog 3 to 4 times throughout the day, and they're usually from 30 minutes to an hour. So I get plenty of steps in, and that's what I do cardio wise. I don't like doing it at the gym, and I'll train around between 10 and 10:30 every single day, and that's my usual training routine. And that's about it, mate. That's everything else around that. I get structured in first to my diary. Lucky enough, I have the opportunity to do that. I can schedule in my training. I can schedule in when I'm going to walk the dog, and I do schedule it. I even schedule in when I'm going to cook and make my food. It's all on Google, and it comes through on my phone with notifications at this time in 30 minutes time. A reminder: you got to go and make your food, and I'll go and do it. But I need that. I feel like I need that structure personally to stick to something and to maintain it. Otherwise,
exactly the same. Routine is
shit doesn't get done otherwise. Yeah.
Especially in the morning.
That's
a little bit earlier than you, though, mate.
I've got no kids, so I've got to get up and worry about it.
Have you got a routine, Jack? Or are you a little bit trying to find your feet still?
I mean, the only thing for me is me and my partner sit down every Sunday night and go through the week. So we'll work out what sessions I've got on, when we're going to train, and then sort of slot everything else around that.
It's important that it goes in first. If you have the opportunity to do so,
100%.
Your health is your priority. Put that in first,
100%.
Yeah,
and then everything else around that, even before.
It
does
sounds
before
easy
work.
to say that when you don't have children.
I know, yeah.
And this isn't a knock on you at all, because I even tell people to say that.
Yeah.
But you have to prioritise it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, my kids come first. They always will do. But let me tell you now, very, 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 very closely behind them is my training.
yeah.
Like almost on par with them.
It needs to, but I guarantee you could probably say as well, if you were to write down your actual day and just fucking see it in front of you, you can probably find a 30-minute to an hour time slot in there that works for you.
If people say, I don't have an hour, it's like, well, can you got 20 minutes there?
Yeah.
20 minutes there.
Yeah.
One beginning in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
one in the evening. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be an hour.
Mm-hmm.
If you can break it up. I was thinking this the other day. I said this to some blokes, like, break it up. Get up in the morning, go for a walk, go for a 20-minute run. You know, buy a flipping assault bike or a watt bike or something, whack it downstairs, go hard on that for 20 minutes. You're going to get a hell of a sweat on.
Mm-hmm.
And then do some sort of body weight kettlebell workout in the garden in the evening for 20 minutes.
That's what I've been doing recently.
Do
It
you know
works
what I mean?
perfect
That's
for me.
40 minutes.
Yeah.
You work hard for a short period of time. It's going to be more beneficial than going to the gym and dicking about on your phone, bench press. Like, do you know what I mean? You're going to get more benefit. So
Just how hard are people really training in the gym
we've
as well?
had this
That's another
conversation
topic.
before.
Yeah.
It's the intensity, but going back to the time thing, like you said, schedule it in. People say, I don't have the time. I bet you can find 20, 30
Write it
minutes.
down, you'll find
You
it.
know, a couple of times a day. Do you know what I mean? So,
Easily.
but it is.
I mean,
it's hard. It is hard when you've got kids.
Yeah, it
because
is.
If things change on a daily basis,
For sure.
like
You're
clubs,
moving around everything they're doing.
It's always something
effectively,
different.
but
It's hard.
You can always find time. So, my non-negotiables are that my first alarm is 4:30 every day.
4:30?
4:30 is my first alarm.
My head is fully down.
Yeah,
Sleep,
100%.
snoring.
But that's my window where I won't touch my phone. I'll be on my vision board. I'll be looking. I'll do a bit of breath work, a bit of meditation, just my time. And then it's up and I'm ready. And if I've got an extended morning, which is very rare, it'll be cold shower. Have a cold shower before I go.
Always go. I could speak
out, and
about
then I'll
cold
start
showers
with
for
it.
an
But
hour
if
as
I
well.
miss that one, then I'll train and have the cold shower after. But yeah, my non-negotiables are 4:30 every day, breath work, meditation every day.
One thing I want to say though to a lot of people that listen to this, because you see this on social media, and these videos are becoming very popular of trainers going, "This is my daily routine," and they wake up in a bed that looks like it's out of a fucking hotel, and they make a coffee that's made like a professional barista, and they're like, making their eggs, and the eggs look amazing. You're like, this has been edited so many fucking times. You don't live like that.
That's the problem as well. My
It
missus would
annoys
say to
me.
me, if I ever made a video like that, my missus would fucking comment and be like, "No, you fucking don't. That's not what you do."
Called straight out.
The point is, people need to find a routine that works,
works
for
for
them.
you.
You
Yeah.
hear all this shit. Cold plunge every morning. Listen, right? I love a cold plunge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning and
hitting
getting in a cold plunge at 5:15. I'm sorry, but I'm fucking not.
Mm-hmm.
I've got shit to do. I'm too fucking tired and I'm not doing it. I will not. It won't work.
I felt his passion.
But it won't work for me.
No.
I will not stick
No.
to it because I do not want to get in the water at 5 o'clock in the morning.
No.
It will not work.
It has to be 100% individual.
This is what I'm saying. Like you need to find what works. If you can find you can cold plunge at 6 o'clock in the evening where the kids are just getting in the bath for 2 minutes, perfect.
do it then.
It doesn't need to be
first
in the
thing,
morning
no.
like everyone keeps fucking telling you.
That's all sprung through social media as well, because
Yeah.
people were making fucking TikToks of them getting in an ice bath at 4 a.m. and then they're saying, "This is what I do every day," but no, I bet it fucking isn't.
Bullshit. But you know what you said? You said about, I fast, but not really because it just works for me.
Yeah.
That's perfect statement because it works for you.
It works for me, yeah.
People say to me, "Oh, do you believe in intermittent fasting?" I go, "Well, don't."
That's why I don't like calling it intermittent fasting, because
Disbelieve
it's
in
not.
it,
I'm
but
just
I
pushing
know
my
it
meal times
works.
back.
It works for people because it works for their routine. I say to people, "Are you big breakfast eaters?" Not really. Well, don't force it down you then.
No.
And that's the thing as well. I could be. If I started eating breakfast, I guarantee, by that time, hunger hormones, I'm going to start wanting to have breakfast again in the mornings. But it works perfectly for me because if I start pushing that first meal forwards, I'm going to start consuming more calories throughout the day, which I don't really need. So I just push it back as far as I can. And I'll eat. I don't do it. I don't have a set specific time. So when I do start getting hungry, 10:30, 11 o'clock, then I go and make my first meal.
I think the takeaway from this little snippet is we've said it so many times. You've got to find a routine that works for your lifestyle.
Yeah.
If you've got 2, 3, 4 kids and you hear people, everyone's got, I haven't got time. You can find time. You've just got to want to find the time. You can find 20 minutes, 30 minutes. We all can, right? But you've just got to find that routine works for you. Stop looking at some idiot on social media that's saying this is the way you've got to do it.
Regardless of your
Ignore
situation,
that.
you have to do this.
That's bollocks. Their lifestyle is not like that. It's made up to look fucking pretty, right? We all know it. It's not true. Find what works for you. It's that simple.
I think bolting onto that as well, there's this mad conception that people who get up early in the morning are more productive and get more done and stuff. But actually, a lot of people would rather sleep in and get their bit done at the end, sort of 10, 11, 12 o'clock. Why is that any worse?
Yeah, 100%.
It's not.
Why is
Some people are
that's
morning
not- there's
persons.
no
Yeah.
worse
So a study's been done
than
that
getting up
everyone's
first
got
thing in the morning.
productive
one or the
hours
other,
in the
right?
day. They've got studies on that. So I know my productive hours are in the morning.
Yeah,
That's
well,
when
I
I'm
couldn't
at my
think
most
of anything
productive.
worse. I actually
Hence
do
why
more
I
of my
book,
work in the
I
evening.
book sessions in the afternoon because I haven't got to think about them too much. I can go deliver, run a PC. I haven't got to think too much. But if I want to be productive, you've got to catch me between 6 and 10 in the morning. Otherwise,
I agree.
I'm out.
I'm the same as that.
It's understanding your productive hours, 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Any other questions?
Last question.
I
had it as well.
The suspense, you built it up there.
It's not even that deep. Last question is, why choose outdoor fitness as part of your fitness routine?
Choose out.
I think
Why outside instead of in a gym? Is that?
Yeah, I'm guessing so.
We can get scientific with the amount of germs and God knows what is pumped around.
But also, I just think
circulation
actually
around
being out
gyms.
in
It's a
the
completely
natural
different
environment.
feel. Yeah.
It's
being
studies have
natural
proven
environment.
loads. It being out in the
Your
fresh
mental
air,
well-being.
it's for your mental well-being. It's tenfold over a gym. just for your personal well-being. Then you've got the social aspect.
And to quote Sweeney, community. Oh,
yeah, because you go in the gym, you put your headphones on, you stare in the mirror. It's not as productive as what people say. You go to an outdoor environment, it's fresh air, scenery, like-minded people. You especially come to groups like us, like you said earlier.
There's so much variety.
We control the intensity then.
Yeah, and you can move around. You don't
Completely different change of scenery. Yeah, everything's just
Yeah.
something new each week.
I think it comes down to mindset as well, because obviously we're training in all weathers. So whether it's 39 degrees like we had last summer, or whether it's pissing down
Where were you
minus
training
2
at
in
39
February.
degrees?
It did go up.
39.
It did, yeah.
No.
I had
Did
one
it?
in the afternoon on that day we had 39 degrees.
Mad, mate.
That is a good point though, because again, like
It's mindset.
there's people that will go in the gym at 6 a.m. But are you going to go when I did the Friday morning 6 a.m. sessions? It's the same crowd every week for the Chelmsford ones. Are you going to get up at 5:30 in the morning? Or let me take Miranda for example. She'll get up at 4:30. She lives that far away. Drive to Chelmsford before a full day's work. No matter what the fucking weather was, pissing down with rain, minus 5 degrees. She'll be there at 6 a.m. every single week doing that. And that's because she's how many years has she been a member? And she's just developed that mindset over that amount of years.
Discipline.
It's ridiculous.
That's discipline.
She's on it
We
every
say it all the time anyway, it's just discipline.
always on it. She says she sleeps with her boot camp clothes next to her. She wakes up
That's
4:30,
absolute-
puts them on and
absolute
goes.
Discipline. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's
I
I
awesome.
want Miranda on the
ridiculous.
podcast.
Yeah, but that discipline's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know?
I've always, and you know, everyone says that about her as well. I haven't trained around her in a couple of years now, but she's always had that, just that about her. Everyone knows that she's absolutely nails.
Yeah.
She's fucking nails.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is weird. Yes, I guess for me, it would be the mental well-being of being outdoors. Would be my biggest
Huge. Just
thing.
so many benefits to it. So many benefits. Just being in nature.
Yeah. Anything else, fellas?
No.
No?
Any more questions?
No, that's it.
You have
That's
got
it.
loads of questions.
Yeah, I've got
What is it?
loads,
Would you
but that's
rather
it
what?
for now. Would you rather
Go on.
do press-ups for the rest of your life or squat jumps for the rest of your life?
Press ups.
Press ups.
Press-ups, yeah, press-ups.
No one likes training legs.
Tell my legs. You can tell my legs.
Go on, Jack.
Squats.
You'd rather squat?
Squat jumps.
When are you going to start? Big Rich coming from
I
there.
really wish he had said when you do. I really come on, Jack.
Should we wind it back? We'll do it again.
I don't even doubt it.
We don't
even
edit
doubt
shit
it.
out on this.
Don't even doubt it.
Oh,
What
brilliant.
would you rather?
I do it fucking
Go,
absolutely.
go,
No.
Oh, no.
This would get deleted and cancelled quickly. No.
Burpees. I'd rather do burpees all the time.
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. If there was one exercise you could do for the
Burpees.
rest of your life, what would it be?
Burpees.
Burpees. Yeah, I think I'd be burpees.
Because
as
it's an
well.
all-rounder.
Yeah, I think I'd be burpees.
We should do. You should like challenge yourself. Like do like
How many could you do in a week?
in a week.
Yeah. Like if you set yourself an hour timer a day for a week, how many do you reckon?
I don't know.
Like we should test it out. There's a lot of burpees
There's a
in
lot.
an hour,
There's
isn't it?
There's some naughty burpee world records out there. It's a horrible
There
exercise.
is.
It's a hard exercise, man.
What would your exercise be if you only had one for the rest of your life? He's going to go
Thrusters.
keeping pull-ups.
Thrusters, squats, press.
Yeah, okay.
press.
Yeah, that's a good choice. I'm now lost for one.
Muscle ups.
Can't do one.
They're hard. No. They're very, very hard, but they are very good all-round body, upper
Yeah.
body, not legs.
Yeah.
So I'd still go burpees.
Yeah.
Still.
Can I have an actual weightlifting exercise?
No.
Yeah, whatever you want, mate.
Yeah.
Is that
It's
that?
yours for
I'll
the
go with
rest of the-
deadlifts.
It's yours.
Deadlifts.
Deadlifts for sure. Yeah,
Deadlifts.
yeah. As an all-rounder,
Mm.
but not burpees for me because I do burpees in slow motion. It's just- looks like I'm falling over very slowly.
Love it. Right, guys, please like and subscribe. Again, if you found this useful, please share. Please put some comments below. And yeah, keep getting the message out. Thank you very much, guys.